Welcome back, everyone. Sorry for the abrupt end. We left off with some very dramatic dragon action.
Mm-hmm. Right. So Ananke, in with her mind in the body of Kith, had dived at Ash, the big nasty demon, and spit venom at him, and did that without taking any counter strike in return. I'm, what is Ananke? What are you trying to do after that? You've got in a strike. Are you trying to get get away and stay at a distance? Are you trying to get in close with this thing?
I think that in this case, she is going to try and use its size against it. She's essentially a quicker, smaller, more agile creature at this point. So she wants once she spit the acid. So she's hoping to blind it. Of course, she's going to try and get around it to where it's not facing her directly, and she's gonna close in. So she's basically gonna come in swinging with this little dragon, playing into the whole poisonous thing. She's gonna basically get him to maybe secrete something terrifying and then just go to town raking at this thing.
Okay, so you want to get kind of dive around and get on his back?
Yeah, basically get on his back or get into his belly. Get somewhere where it's not tails and claws.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm string it.
All right. It is a spiky creature, and you spit in its eye, but it has a bunch of eyes, right? So taking spitting in an eye, it clearly hurts, but it's not like taking out just we only have two.
That's okay. We got time. We'll work around.
Eventually
I'm short on venom.
So you've taken that out. Meanwhile, Agorus, you've got a demon jumping at you, and so what are you doing? You just
Has there been anything in this area at this point that would indicate relation to that initial clue we found with the demonic legion or whatever, the type of demon that had assaulted me originally?
Which demonic clan?
Yeah.
Okay. You've done some studying of different demon clans, and there's, I'm assuming that your order maintains, books of information about demons, some of which is probably not accurate, and some of which probably is. So you kind of sort through the wheat from the chaff. But do you want to flash back to a study roll?
Yeah, that works.
Okay. I'm gonna call this is not a this is just a fortune roll. It's not there's no consequence there. So there's no risk. But let's say that you'll do a study roll to see how much information that you get about this.
You can take a bonus dive. Valriaut was in correspondence with you at this point. Leverage my knowledge, my brother.
Okay.
Excellent. That'll be all one of my die. Okay. Valriaut, read this to me.
You get a whole die. Well, you roll 5, and again, there's no consequence there. It's just a fortune roll for a gather information roll. So you get so that's a decent amount of information. You recognize these demons. You think you know of several different clans that the demons come from. You're very sure that you haven't seen any demons from the Urlor clan. You think that the big demon is from one clan and the others are from another clan. So the big demon appears to be from the Gisht clan, and the others seem to be from the Dreth clan. The feeling you get, as far as you can tell, is that the Dreth clan tends to provide sort of cannon fodder and servants. They tend to be lower in the on the totem pole. The big demon is from Gisht clans, is sort of the ruling clan of the demons. In terms of what they appear to be trying to do, you do have some information on several thousand years ago. There was a journal about a potential attack that could be made against Agorus using by corrupting the orb using blood from different Vergences. So you believe that there's something, something along the lines of that is going on, that it would require some kind of a ritual. And it could, in theory, be done to, something that's affecting a mirror world of the orb could be a route to affect the orb itself.
Sure.
You can ask other questions.
Well, the two that spring to mind, we can obviously not see that ritual circle that Hrolf saw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he didn't get a chance to talk to you about that.
Sure. So, would I suspect that we would be the blood? Or do you think that knowing Kith... I guess I don't know about Kith.
Well, you see this dragon there, right? And you know that Ananke was trying to rescue a dragon.
Right, its connection to the serpent, though. I don't necessarily know that it is a blood
you
creature.
don't know that connection per se, and she didn't talk about that.
Yeah.
So a reasonable hypothesis in your mind could be that they want to use blood from Agorians as part of this ritual. It's also possible they want to use that blood from different Vergences would be useful in the process of a ritual like this.
Right. So I'll start looking around. I think what I'm going to do, because I don't think I got too far away from Valriaut at any point. I think he started advancing and probably put me more in line with him. Yep. I see that he has gotten his brother here and is looking for protection. Yep. I think I'll start kind of trying to scan the area and look over my shoulder to Valriaut, say something along the lines of, we have to find wherever this ritual circle is. They have to be conducting something magical. I don't know, can you feel these things? And oh gods, where did Hrolf go?
Yeah, he just disappeared.
Just like looking everywhere, trying to find anything. And what I would like to do, rather than necessarily fighting this demon, which is fine, I would dispatch a demon or 12. I would like to use my weapon master ability, which allows me to engage small groups of enemies on equal footing, to basically do what Valriaut's brother was going to do, like watch Valriaut's back.
Sure. Yep.
I'd like to protect them, since I can engage basically a greater number of foes at once.
Yes, you can.
And try to just keep the minor demons from getting to disrupting Valriaut, whatever he's trying to do.
Okay, so your goal is not, I mean, obviously you would stab a demon if you have the opportunity, but your main goal here is to keep them engaged and under control. And so you were yelling at, so I'm going to say that you were yelling those things to Valriaut as you're, ducking and bobbing around this thing, making claw strikes at you, and you're just kind of diving around it. You recognize his brother Borin. In fact, in some ways, because he's a priest of the orb, you know him quite well, since that's kind of connected to your gem as well. So you see Borin there. Borin is perfectly happy to be involved in that. He's not a weapon master like you, but he is clueful enough to be able to become part of your pattern and be, you're using him as part of that process. So the two of you are working on holding off the demons.
Sure.
Yep.
I was going to ask or suggest, he's probably more trained in the arcane arts in general. And after I start mentioning stuff about like this ritual or whatever, I don't know if he would be able to prepare something to help disrupt a ritual.
You want to handle that so the two of them can do arcane stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that makes perfect sense. So you see the dragon take a strike at the big demon, and you are working on holding off that massive demon. So you're dealing with them on a one-to-one basis. There are several demons that you're just kind of holding off and keeping under control. How about you make a roll? I'm going to call that risky standard. And if standard means that they're not bothering you or anybody else right now, or not able to get to you or anybody else for a while.
Okay. And I assume this is engage then?
Yeah, that's probably the most reasonable action to roll. And I believe that's going to cost you 1 stress to do that.
Yep. So I mark the stress, and I will roll 3.
Yep. And of course, so I'm going to say that you do successfully hold them off, but they're kind of closing in. They're creating a pattern around you. So, assuming nothing else happens, it's becoming more desperate. But that does give time for Valriaut and Borin to confer and decide on a course of action as they wish. So you have bought them time.
Sure.
Yeah. So I'm not going to squander that time that I've been given. I think I turned to Borin and I'm like, did you told us about what your studies have entailed and things like that, right?
Right. I'm like looking around and I tell you that I don't see any sort of like arcane sigils or anything, but they must be doing some sort of ritual. Maybe they're maybe watch the big one if he's going to take Jelamun towards it.
Right. I think that in this moment, like I'm looking to Borin, and Borin is better at.
You know that Borin can feel forces associated with the orb. You know, he's connected to the power. He's attuned to the orb in the same manner that you are. But his specialty is the orb rather than general mystical powers like yours. So he points in a direction, sort of the direction that Hrolf got. You saw Hrolf kind of flying through the air a while back toward
Rabble up there.
And he says that there is some kind of mystical sigil thing in that direction, and it is definitely connected to this mirror orb.
Okay. I think that my immediate reaction is still to get Ananke's now kind of limp body out of there. So I'm going to take kind of a route and trust Borin to hold my back while he showed me the direction. I'm going to kind of make a beeline toward Ananke, and then I'm going to make my way over in that direction as well.
Okay.
So
cool. So the two of you are going to make that. Let's see. I would say that you could, if you wanted to, readily make. Well, the first thing that I would think of would be a traverse roll to get there and get her unconscious body. As far as you know, it's unconscious. You're hoping she's not dead, right? You don't actually know she's not dead right now.
She went limp. The dragon started moving. That's all I know.
Yeah. So the dragon's fighting it out. As far as you know, the dragon is just avenging her death, right?
Yeah, but I'm not leaving a comrade like that, especially a newfound one.
Yeah, you definitely don't know that she's dead.
Yeah, so I'm more than happy traversing there. I think I'm holding on to that last point of stress for all my life, but
probably makes sense. I'm going to say that with Borin covering and with Agorus covering, you can make a traverse roll, and that is going to call that controlled standard, and if you make the roll, you'll get over to where Ananke's physical form is.
Okay, that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
It's not good.
And you roll failure, which is getting par for the course. Let's say, so it's controlled. I'm going to say what has happened is that in the midst of fighting it out with the dragon, the demon has maneuvered so it is standing over Ananke's body. And so you were running over that way, and then the demon, the dragon's flying around, the demon's kind of responding to the dragon, not paying so much attention to you, but it's now over Ananke's body.
Well, then I'm going to try and do something maybe a little non-standard here. I'm going, yeah, right. What is standard, right? I'm going to attempt to banish from, this kind of stone's throw away. I'm just going to probably throw more power than is strictly necessary. And just trust that if she is dead, I will recover her body. And if she is not, then it's better than being right underneath the demon.
Okay. You're not going for the demon, you're going for Ananke.
I'm going for Ananke. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Let's say, I'm going to say to Ananke that you have enough connection remaining to your body that you can feel something happening, that he's doing this. And I'm going to ask you, are you helping that to happen, or are you hindering it, or are you totally focused on what you're doing in your dragon body?
Yeah, no, I think that Ananke at this point is completely focused on what she's doing, trying not to get, eaten. Okay.
All right, so you're not interfering, but you're not actively helping. All right, so I'm going to say that is risky standard, and since we're out in the Umbra, standard means that you will get her out of here somewhere. Maybe not to a better place, but somewhere different.
Aim for the serpent.
Of course, I'm aiming for the serpent. I'm aiming for the serpent.
Yes!
And you roll a 6. All right. So we'll decide exactly what happened there later. Ananke, you have this very weird feeling of having your physical body be just, you have this connection to it, right? While you're flying around in the dragon. And now that's gone. And it's like, now there's just your spirit in the dragon. And if you were not a shaman, that would be incredibly disorienting and really mess you up. But you've done out-of-body experience stuff before. This is different, but you can adapt to it just fine.
That was what I was banking on.
Yeah.
I'm curious if, I go to the next world and just find Ananke's body there too, and I'm just like, oh, hey, what's this?
Well, we'll see. Maybe if you roll a crit.
Yeah, right.
All right, so you, Hrolf, are trying to get far enough to get to this world that has something that you can use as incendiaries back in the orb mirror world. You feel like you're almost there. You could make another.
Yeah, I'll do another warp. Try to get there. 5.
Sure. All right, so that's going to get you there. As a consequence, I am going to say, what am I going to say? That you get to a place that has these things, but they are volatile. So that travel clock, I'm actually going to say that I'm going to remove all of the ticks on the travel clock to indicate that now you're that far away from. So you got where you needed to go, but now you're once again that far away from the mirror orb world. So.
Take an armful.
Yeah, so I take an armful, or as many as I can carry. If I had stress, I would summon my
Right, yeah, you're
air to help carry things for me.
I'm your little friend. All right, but you are so that clock is now empty.
Okay. And I'm gonna head back.
Okay, so you are taking some risk involved in
Yes.
carrying these things along in your arm.
What could go wrong?
No, it'll be fine.
I got another 5.
A 5. Okay. So let's say, let's say that you drop a couple, and they blow up close enough to you to give you another level 1 harm blasted.
Okay. Can I say that's not just that it's close to me, like with no mechanical change, but I think it would be cool if like it was just like the one that was right next to it that I drop them, and just like they all go off, and then I immediately leave, having left behind just a world on fire.
Okay.
Whoops.
Yeah, as you're exiting that world, it's like boom, boom.
Yep.
You created the elemental plane of exploding fruit.
Yeah, I did. Yep.
But you did get
A new Vergence is born.
yeah. Well, it probably takes a little more than that. So you've filled 2 clocks and you're making progress back to where you're trying to get to.
Yes.
All right. So you have blasted Ananke's body somewhere nearby.
It's probably better than being stepped on by a demon.
It's probably better than just randomly being, stabbed by a demon.
Now I really hope it wasn't the elemental plane of exploding fruit, though.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Bad. Real bad.
That would be a
Serpent plus exploding fruit, that equals Vergence.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, Ananke, what are you said you're trying to get onto its into some position that's in close where it's vulnerable and can't quite get at you.
That's the goal, is to try and stay away from the hurty parts.
Okay. So you're trying to dodge one way and then jump in close onto. I'm going to say its back is probably the most reasonable place to get to. It does have a spiky tail, so that's not necessarily a completely invulnerable spot, but it looks like it would be the safest spot to be in a grapple with this thing.
Sounds good.
All right, so let's say a successful roll is a grapple. Do you want to do anything to modify that roll, or just roll it straight?
Yeah, I think I'm going to. This thing's big and it's got a lot of life to it. I think I'm going to go ahead and push Kith here so that we get an extra die.
Okay. And you roll a crit.
Nice.
All right. So a regular success would have been just getting a really good grapple on the thing. But in the process, let's say that you managed to get a claw through its armor and stick a claw right between two gaps in its the armor of its body, and you've managed to stab right into it. So in addition to grappling it, that gives you a really good grip on it, but that's also gonna do 2 ticks of damage, which normally your grapple roll wouldn't have done. So. All right. So 4 of the 8 segments of that clock are full, and it is screaming and writhing around. Probably would have smashed Ananke's body into goo under these circumstances, since it's moving right around where she was. And so you see the dragon has done that. Agorus, you are, the demons are kind of closing in around you, and they're creating, a nice, well-oriented pattern around you where it is hard for you to deal with 2 of them without dealing without giving the third an opening to jump in behind you. What are you trying to do at this point?
How far away are we from the area Boren was trying to tell us to go? Like, are we within like a...
Right, it's sort of down on the other side of the cavern, so it is a significant distance, at least several hundred yards. So it's not a quick little jaunt.
Right. I was trying to see if there was enough space for me to make a break for them. Like, try to, you know what I mean? Like, open the formation a bit. But I don't know if the gap's so much that there's like a lot of demons in between.
No, I mean, there's not much. There's some demons here, and right around you, there aren't any other demons that are just kind of hanging around.
Have we made enough progress to like see the thing then?
Right. I'm going to say that you've moved somewhat toward there, so you can see a glow from So there's sort of, if you had a direct line of sight, you could see it. But there are kind of spikes and crags, and this is not the easiest terrain.
Sure.
In fact, a lot of the work of getting there is just climbing over stuff and jumping over things. So you can see a glow from it, but you can't specifically see it.
Okay. If it looks reasonable then that there's not more opposition between us and trying to like open up these demons would afford them a chance to try to run over there, I would like to do that.
So you just kind of faint in one direction and then break away toward the...
I don't necessarily want to go.
Mm-hmm.
I want to just open it enough that they can both run out.
Okay, so you want to give them cover to be able to get away from where you and the demons are, and you want to just be the full distraction for them?
Yes.
Okay, that is perfectly reasonable. You are, again, because you rolled the consequence last time, you are in desperate standard. Standard means that you're going to give them a nice, easy route away from you toward the sigil. Do you want to do anything about that roll?
So, how does that work? I assume I would have to spend the one stress first, because I have two. I wouldn't be able to push.
Yeah, so it's going to cost you a stress to take the action.
Right before I would be able to push.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So no pushing for me. What about a devil's bargain?
Well, a devil's bargain could be taking level 1 arm automatically. Another devil's bargain could be that the big demon has stumbled over toward where you are, even though it's not, deliberately targeting you. It has, in the process of fighting the dragon, suddenly it's where you are at the same time.
Right. I was wondering if it was moving in a approximately like parallel line that we might accidentally fall under.
Fall into. So that could be a devil's bargain, is that you're now right near the big demon, if you wanted to do that.
I'll take that.
All right. So that gives you an extra, and you could trade so you could also trade a die for trade effect for position if you wanted to get yourself in a position.
No, I think I'm okay staying at desperate with that. It'll end up being 4 dice for me.
Yeah.
And let's see if I can, explode.
Maybe it'll be great.
There we go.
Full success, so you take no consequences. So you're over by the big demon, but the way for Valriaut and Boren is really pretty much open. There aren't any demons in the way, and there's none of you've got their full attention.
Sure. I hold the demons off or start fighting them for long enough that I think the larger demon, Valriaut and Boren, start running that way, and then the larger demon gets in the way where the smaller ones maybe can't rush past, or they get thrashed or something like that. But now I'm being...
You're gonna get bumped by the big demon while it's thrashing around even.
Right. And I'm being like pushed up against it almost.
Yeah. So you're up next to Ash, right?
Yeah.
All right, Valriaut, do you want to do a thing?
Yeah, I've got a weird thing that I think I want to do at this point, because now there's this opening in between the demons, and Agorus is holding the line.
And you would go sort of back to back.
Who is your second in command at the Effulgent Heliodor?
Let's say it's a guy named Quail.
Quail. Okay. How? Because we've got this upgrade that we never spent for our conspiracy here, or our alliance. Sorry. And I think that now would be a good time to just have like 20 really badass Effulgent Heliodors just in the back line of these demons. And I think that this might be a flashback to me setting this up with Quail, maybe without your notice.
That's fair.
Are you into that?
Yeah, that's fine.
They're yours. I mean, I think at this point, like, razzle dazzle, let's pull out all the stops, right?
Yeah. I think I haven't been like directly controlling them for a while now, because this has been a consuming investigation.
And they can handle themselves.
Right, yeah. They've got other business to attend to besides.
That, and I've only ever used my transfer stone to blind a demon. I would like to use it to kill some demons now. So I think that as Boren and I are running, I kind of give Boren a pat on the shoulder and say, I'll be right behind you. And then sort of turn and pull out my transfer stone. And I call out to Quail and say, to the prince.
It's time?
It is time.
Okay. So you open that connection. That's not going to require a roll. You're close enough to where you're connecting to that it's a quick, easy opening. He's got enough experience with transfer stones. He's not of the blood, so he wouldn't be able to use a transfer stone like you can. But he's got enough. He's able to recognize your connection. He is able to call his people. Let's say that I'll call that a zero stress flashback. There's a sort of ready room full of warriors from the Heliodor, sort of armed and ready to go, and he calls up to them, and they stand, and you start kind of reaching out through the connection. You pull the first one through, then the next one through, and the next one through, and shortly, the others have gone through, and you pull Quail through, which closes that connection since he's now on your end of things. But now you've got a squad of 20 warriors who are specifically trained to fight demons, and so they have pole arms that have been devised specifically over years. That are designed to hold, to keep demons at a distance where they can be most effectively fought, and they have, spikes that they're long treatises within the Heliodors to the exactly perfect design for a pole arm for fighting demons in general. Various schools of thought on that point, but they all have effective pole arms and armor that's designed to cope with demons. And they jump, so you see 20 guys. They see their prince over there fighting demons right next to a big honking sucker. And they Quail thanks you and calls his men to arms, and they charge over toward Agorus and the big demon to engage.
Under the black eye of the cowards of Agorus as they would have it. To the prince! Cut them down!
Okay, and so they're headed over there. Cool. Hrolf, you could continue working your way toward the cavern.
I'm kind of imagining myself increasingly in like a almost Scooby-Doo kind of way, just like, oh no, oh jeez.
Doesn't flying offer you like stability or something?
Let's see how this roll goes.
Okay.
5, and that's 5 stability.
Okay. So let's say I'm gonna keep that clock. I'm sorry. Okay. There we go. So you're getting there. You're close. You are traveling through a series of world transitions. The caverns you're traveling through are now getting less and less vegetated. The orb thing goes through a series of transitions that is looking more and more like the orb you're getting to. And you're sort of visualizing, okay, the next transition is going to get this much closer, and you're making your way there. But you did get a consequence. I'm going to say that you only have a couple left.
Okay.
Dropped a couple.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a better way to hold on to them apart from my arms that I can.
But these you've got a good grip on, since you had a bunch and it was just too many while you were trying to make these transitions. But now you've got a couple, and they're you don't think you're going to drop these.
Okay. I'm gonna just try to go the last distance then.
Okay. I'm going to give Ananke a chance to fight it out with the demon while you're doing that. So you are on this critter's back. It is screaming and writhing, and it is trying to bash you with its spiky tail. And you can kind of feel a spurt of yellowish blood sliding up past you, and things are getting slippery because of the blood that you've gotten out of this demon.
Is there any tactical advantage or mechanical advantage to having it in a successful grapple?
It's having trouble. Yeah, if you were underneath it or right in front of it, it would be you would be in a worse position. So I'm going to say that you've managed to achieve a controlled position for the moment. You also see a bunch of warriors who seem to be on your side, charging in. You see Agorus right, down there next to this creature. Fighting it out with some smaller demons, and you see some men charging in. I don't think you recognize them or their armor or their coats of arms or things like that. But Agorus seems to be happy that they're there, so you're assuming that they're not enemies coming in to kill you.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Finally, they're on our side. Okay, well, I think only because I'm in a controlled position right now, I'm going to make another attack. I think that I'm doing this with the expectation that if I get shook loose, and because now it's no longer just us. There's more help now. If she gets shook loose, the expectation here is that she will immediately try to disengage and get distance, because she does have a priority of preserving Kith's health here, but because it's controlled, she's going to go ahead and take advantage.
Okay.
Go with another attack here. I think that she's just basically trying to spit into the open wound.
That makes sense.
She's a jerk. I'm going to push myself.
Okay. Let's see how that goes. And a success. Cool. So I'm going to say... So that's another 2 ticks on Ash's clock. So you spit right into the wound. He is screaming. There are a couple of close calls as he's got this spiky tail that kind of slides across your body, but nothing that really catches. It's trying to, Ash is trying to get this thing to stick into you, and you've got a scaly hide that resists that stabbing motion. So you're still there, you're holding on, and you've managed to spit into the wound successfully. You don't think any more venom into that particular wound is going to do anything, because there's only so much that will do. But Ash does not seem happy about this and is screaming and writhing around.
Good, serves him right.
Agorus, what are you doing now? You have your men charging in to assist you.
Yeah. I think it would be only appropriate to command them.
Mhm.
So I will, I don't know, start shouting like plays like football. Is that how combat work? I don't know.
Split 6-3 hole.
Yeah.
You can certainly say that you have trained with these people and that you have several standard demon fighting formations that you can command them to engage in.
Yeah. So I think we'll deal with the meager ones immediately. And if it comes to it, maybe we'll go poke a big thing.
Okay.
All
All right.
But I'll
So
go for.
I'm going to say that is risky standard.
Okay. And that is my last stress, so it'll be a 2 roll.
I'm going to say that that's not going to cost. That one is not going to cost you stress because you're not making a physical action. So
Okay.
to save yourself that.
Sure.
Unless you really want to pay stress.
No, that's all right.
Okay.
I'm sure I'll have to stab something later.
It's looking reasonably possible, yes. Okay, you roll a partial. So your warriors come in to protect you. They surround you. They see that you're wounded. They engage one of the creatures, and they have this kind of system where 3 warriors with pole arms will surround it and keep it from sort of put it at bay, while another one comes in close with a more specialized stabbing arm. Pole arm that will actually no, not a stabbing one, a hacking one. So a big battle axe thing that is designed to get through demon armor. So while the others are holding it off, they're working together, and you have one particularly large, strong member of the Heliodor who is hacking at its head and takes its head clean off. So one of the demons is down. In the process, I'm going to say that the other 2 demons have managed to kill a couple of your warriors. The big demon has stomped one into goo, and another one is significantly injured.
Seems reasonable. I will call to Quail as they're kind of like engaging these monsters. I don't know its plan currently, but the large one has my sister. I believe she may be unconscious or dead, but if she is not, we need to return her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can see that it's holding her body, or whether it's alive or dead, you're not sure, but it's holding her body up against its torso, and sort of holding it against being struck.
Right.
All right, Valriaut, what are you doing? You managed to throw the Ananke's body out. What are you doing now?
Well, we got the soul. So now it's time for me to beat feet after born and see what's what with this summoning circle or ritual circle.
So you're just heading in that direction.
Blow it up.
Yep. So you're just heading in that direction. If you're trying to go as quickly as possible, that can certainly be a traversal.
Yeah, this definitely feels like a traverse to me.
Okay. I'm going to say this is controlled.
That's good. We know how it goes when I roll 1 die.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say the consequence is that, or the result of this is you just don't make significant. I mean, you get a little ways there, but the terrain is.
I think I am.
Yeah, the terrain is difficult, and you kind of went up to try to get up over a thing, a rocky embankment, and slid back down. And let's see, so it's controlled. I'm going to say that really the consequence is that you didn't make any significant progress here.
went up finally get up the incline, and then it's like a plateau, and it's like a sheer drop. Oh hell!
Oh crap! Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back around the other way. Damn it!
I feel like Valriaut's used to handholds just being there when he reaches. He's like jamming his fingers into rocks.
Yeah.
I wish for another step.
Right. And you could work on warping reality here if that's the way you want to try to make things happen. You could try to create an easier passage for yourself.
Yeah, I think that he's looking around and he's seeing that this is probably the time.
Okay.
I think this is the moment where he starts subtly shifting reality to make the terrain a little bit easier for himself.
Okay, you could do that in small ways for zero stress, or you could start spending stress to see how big a pathway you make. I'm going to say that it's not going to cost. I'm not going to call for a die roll for that action. In other words, you can just spend whatever stress you want to spend for how helpful a pathway you want to make for yourself.
I think I just want to make this steep decline that I've just run up on, this like plateau that just sort of drops off like an escarpment. I just want to make it passable. If I can like turn it into something that's got like handholds, footholds, something that I can get down real quick and then get back on the path. I don't necessarily need a ramp, but I would like a traversable path.
Okay. So you make your path a little bit easier. Are you spending your last stress to do that, or you're saving your last stress?
I think I'm saving my last stress still.
Okay. So you make that a little easier. I'm just going to say that delays you while you do that. Okay. So let's go back to Hrolf. Let's see if you can make your way along this pathway successfully. And you roll a failure. I'm going to say that on a fail, you're still going to make one segment. So you're getting very close. But as a consequence, I'm going to say that you are so close that the mirror orb that you're approaching in this world close to where you're coming to is also throwing out dark lightning. And it's just kind of blasting all around you, making things difficult. And let's say that you just have this, it's getting worse and worse, and there's this kind of wall of lightning in front of you, so that your next roll is going to default to risky.
All right.
Desperate.
Okay. Should I do that roll now, or?
Let me go to these folks, and then you'll get your chance.
Okay.
Ananke, what are you doing now?
I'm gonna kill all the demons before I can bomb them.
Yeah. Well, no, there's some others by the.
Sure.
You saw some others by the that sigil, so you know there are other demons.
I think at this point, Ananke knows that this thing is wounded, and she's going to. I think what I'm going to shoot for here is she's going to try and she's going to release its back and try to run the distance of its body. The goal here is to kind of give a parting shot. She wants to kind of spray acid in the eyes that she missed the first time, and then leap off and get as much distance as she can, hoping that the Heliodors come in if that doesn't take it down.
Okay, so you want to kind of disengage, do a parting shot and disengage.
Yes.
I'm going to say that brings your situation up to risky standard.
Okay, sounds good.
We'll see how that plays out.
I'm kind of interested to hear if there is a devil's bargain here.
Yeah, sure. One devil's bargain. Let's see. You want to get away and hit this thing. So you're trying to do two things at the same time.
Maybe
A bargain.
So say again how you were going to hit it.
It's basically a strafing run. She's trying to go directly over it and spray during the leap.
Yeah.
So you have a limited amount of like acid that.
Yeah. So
or something?
The devil's bargain is that you've run out of venom.
Okay. After this, or
Yep. I'm sorry.
after this?
Yeah, you'll get that one strike.
Okay.
But after this, you will you still have claws. But,
Damn,
the venom have been expended.
I'll take it.
The youngsters use more venom because they don't know how to control it, right?
That's what I'm saying. All right, let's do it.
Okay. And a success. All right. So you're still out of venom, but I'm going to say that is worth 2 ticks. So. Ash is not dead, but Ash is badly wrecked. So as you come out, you manage to spray the last little vestiges of venom that you have able to spit. You have severely injured his eyes, and he is he's going to take off running away from this group, screaming as he does so. He appears to be severely hurt. You're up in the air, so you're looking down at this happening out of venom. Let's see, Agorus, what are you doing? Still got another couple of smaller demons to deal with. The big demon seems to have decided that this is not a good place to be.
And he's running off away from whatever this ritual is.
And,
Is he
and he's very fast.
Sure. Okay. Well, I don't think we're going to chase it down. So that's not a. Oh, it still has my sister, doesn't it?
Yes.
Have your sister.
Mm-hmm.
That's awkward. We'll have to hunt her down then later.
Reunions are going to be tense.
Gosh. That's. When you say fast, do you mean like I can't possibly run after it fast, or like just bad idea fast?
It would certainly be challenging.
How about, would I be able to pull out my transfer stone and try to attune to that thing?
In this moment, you could give that a try.
Sounds like that amazing warp roll you have.
That might not be necessary. There's probably transfer stones attuned to Jelamun somewhere out there, right?
You would imagine that potentially your mother might have one.
Right.
She she has one for you.
Yeah. So I think it's reasonable for me to assume I can find Jelamun in some way in the future. I don't need to make exhaustive effort to do that. So I will instead try to dispatch the last of these demons right next to us, so that the Heliodor can proceed to protect the ritual, the disruption of the ritual.
Okay.
I'd like to roll engage myself, to, as quickly as possible, put down the last few. I know the Heliodor obviously are trained, but they're not on the same level.
Improved, they can improve your position or allow you to more effectively trade positions for effects. So, with them you're still working together and they're still helping you.
Sure.
So I'm going to say that would normally be a risky standard roll. You can take that either as controlled standard or risky.
Risky greater.
Risky greater. Yeah, sorry, I was losing the words.
So I'll go for risky greater.
Okay.
And I'll take that as an engage roll.
Okay.
And see if I can't roll a bunch of 3s again.
And you roll a partial success. I'm going to say that you and they Because in the fiction, we're just going to say that they're working with you, even though you roll. If that makes sense. You and they fight it out with these demons, and they do some pinning a demon down for you to jump in and deliver the coup de grace, and that takes out the other 2 demons. But you're down, between wounded and killed, you're down to about half your men left.
Sure. So I'll pause and probably not Quail directly. He's probably more useful to keep around. But like one of the uninjured soldiers, I'll instruct them to start finding their way back to Agorus.
Okay.
Agorus.
Uh-huh.
They can do that, right?
They actually don't know how to do. They don't have the power to change worlds. So
I was just thinking about that.
They would be here forever.
All right, so we'll have to find them a way back. Okay.
So, if they were on like the Great Termillion Way, they could make their way through the worlds, right? Because that's a pathway. But
okay, I see what you're saying.
They would be stuck here.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess we'll just start to make our way over there and gather ourselves, the fallen or injured. So probably a little bit slower, but making our way towards where Valriaut ran off to.
All right. Valriaut, you have made a way for you to go. You want to make a roll to see if you can get all the way over toward that glowing circle, which you now have a much better view of it since you got yourself up. So you and your brother are looking down on it. It's this kind of big drawn circle with a series of mystic letters and symbols, and it is glowing yellow like the color of the blood of a demon. You can feel a connection between this, mirror orb and this sigil. They're kind of locked in alignment with each other.
Yeah, I think since it's myself and Boren, and we're kind of by our onesie out here, I think I'm holding back a second, and we're sort of coming down onto, now that we have a view of this summoning circle. I really want to study this. I want to see what it does. I want to see how it's working. I want to see if there's anything that I might be able to to be useful here. I am not the swordsman.
Sure.
I cannot run in there and dispatch demons like that. I'm full of tricks, and I need a trick very, very badly here.
Sure. As you're doing that, you see that these dark lightning flashes are coming out of this orb in various ways, up to the ceiling, down to the ground, not landing right where you are, but it seems to be increasing. And as I said earlier, the size of the blotch on the sphere is about a third of the size of it, and most of the lightning is coming out of that blotch.
So here's my
on the side of the sphere toward this sigil.
So here's my big question, and the one that I am feeling most in desperate need of a little bit of understanding. What do they need to complete this? Is that something that I might be able to find out with a study roll?
Sure. We could flash back to your kind of studying. Actually, let's flash back to this. As you recall, last night, when you were in the crypts, the cavern, the tunnels underneath the palace, and fighting those demons earlier, right? You found a small book, and we could flash back to your studying that book.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So this is a flashback. Is this just a fortune roll, or is there position and effect here?
Yeah, I'm going to say this is a fortune roll. I don't have... actually, no, I'm going to say it's a controlled position gather action roll, gather information roll with an action roll. Because there is a potential small consequence that could apply.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I can see getting it wrong, right?
Yeah.
Okay. 2 dice here.
Okay.
It's not good.
You know everything about it.
I do.
Anti-crit.
I am quite convinced that I know exactly what is going on here.
Yes, you're absolutely certain that what you need to do is go to the center of this circle and stab yourself in the chest.
This seems incorrect, but I'm game.
That's what it says, right? Yeah. That will completely eradicate the whole thing.
Whatever it is to save my friends.
Good. So let's say that we flash back to you studying this. It's in this strange language. You've had to do some translation back and forth. It's in a language that you're only vaguely familiar with because it's ancient, and B, it's written in a weird cipher in that language rather than just in the language. So it's taken some work to get through. You're very clever, so you're good at these things. You are the human equivalent of a brilliant cryptographer, but it was a difficult challenge. But you think you got the gist of what it says, and let's say that what you got out of it is that what would be a weird thing you might believe about this? You are pretty sure that the circle itself is essentially indestructible without, the equivalent of nuclear weapons, but that the way to destroy it would be blood of an Agorian in the center.
Well, then my course is clear. I have to kill Agorus. I'm kidding. I have Borin right here.
Plus, there's you.
No, that is not on the.
It said other.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that being said, I think I grab Borin and I lean in and I'm like, my brother, I believe that I know how to stop this, and it is not pretty.
Mm.
I think
All right. Well, tell me what you need.
We have to fight our way to the center, and in the middle of it all, I am going to shed my blood, and I am going to set up a magical resonance loop between myself and that terrifying thing up there, and I'm going to blow this entire place sky high.
All right. Well, let's see what we can do.
The bleeding part should not be a problem.
Well, we've got cutty things, so.
We do indeed. Very many good things.
Plus those demons down there, they clearly can do the job as well.
I want to note that Ananke is, as Kith, definitely coming up on them as quickly as possible because he's the only person who knows where her body is, so he can't.
Well, actually, you don't.
Cool dragon shriek noises.
Yeah. So you can be right there. That distance was not a challenge for you, able to fly. So let's say that you can come down over them. On the other hand, you in Kith form, Kith doesn't have vocal cords that let him just talk. He was able to communicate with you psychically. You don't have you could gesture, but you don't have a way of just having a chat with them.
Yeah, and I think she kind of circles overhead a couple times, shrieking down at them, and like she's giving him the look like, "Where the hell's my body?" But it just looks like a dragon staring at you. So
this dragon seems
this might be a good time for me to show up too.
Yeah, no, I think so. So let's say that you're going to make one more roll, and you're trying to get through a lot of lightning strikes. And you roll a critical success.
I am very good at lightning. That is, in fact, in my name.
Yeah. You are
a stormcaster.
So I'm going to say that a lightning bolt comes down to strike at you, and you just reach out and grab it and pull yourself from one world to another on that lightning strike, and you can come in. You can come through to this world in pretty much any location you choose.
So,
it.
Remind me quickly how long it takes to attune a transfer stone. Can I have flashback to attune it to the exploding plant world?
It takes a few minutes, so you can certainly flash back to that. I'm going to say that I would kind of have to feel like I would have to charge you a stress for that.
I don't have that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, just because of the time involved and you were trying to go fast, so in order to get back here as quickly as you did, it would make sense for that to be a one stress.
If anyone has a bond with me that they haven't spent with that.
That's what I was gonna say. I have my bond.
It's not a stress.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Okay. I'll make do with what I have, I guess.
That's what happens when you run out of game resources, right?
Yeah, I don't remember what I spent it on last session, but I started this session with very little stress to spare.
Yeah. There was a bunch of stuff that went on last session.
Yeah.
Anyway, you because of your critical, again, you can arrive any place in this cavern that you feel like.
I'd like to arrive...
A lightning strike.
Yeah, I'd like to arrive
like... Thor, God of Thunder, boom! You arrive right
in the center. Do it.
Just directly above the ritual circle and like above the demons.
Okay. And you pick up these bomb things.
And then yeah, I guess I should release the bombs on them.
Okay. All right. So you just kind of strafe down and drop a couple of these bombs on demons.
Yep.
All right. Are you trying to disrupt them? Are you trying to kill them? What are you trying to get out of this?
If I can kill them, I would like to do so. But if it's just a matter of getting them to flee so we can disable the circle, that also works.
Okay. Well, you tell me what you're mainly trying to do.
I guess kill them.
Okay. And I'm noticing that we're getting past time, so.
Yes.
So why don't you make a roll? Let's see. Normally that would probably be an engage roll.
Can I... Can I have appeared with a lightning strike? I'm just trying to use as many dice as I can.
Okay.
And...
Because one thing you could do, if you wanted to, is that you appear in the middle of this lightning strike and you make a command roll to, scare them away, and that leave or my lightning will destroy you.
Oh, that's not what I was thinking, but that also works. I was thinking I could use the command.
However you want.
I could use the command and say like, "Quick demons, you're being overrun. Follow me," and then I lure them into a corner and then. Deliver the bombs to them.
Here, eat this.
Yeah, exactly.
Use these against my friends.
Right. All you do is you push this here, and then they blow. Oh, I'm sorry. Can I do that?
Yeah. Well, you can certainly make the command roll. Sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to call that. Risky standard.
Okay. 5.
Partial. Interesting. Okay, so you get this. So you arrive in a flash of lightning, and you tell them to come with you, and they are following you. I'm going to say that they get suspicious after. Before they're, kind of where they want to be.
Sure.
But, Valriaut, the demons around this area have been led off by Hrolf, who seems to have some sort of power over them. So, Valriaut, you're there.
Explosives.
Ananke, you're there. Is there something you want to do?
You see, I always felt like it was such a strange feeling, but I never trusted him. I think...
You got the demons out of there, so...
Right, he got the demons out of there. To what end?
Yeah.
They all were just like, yeah, cool. And they just walk walked off with him. I'm like, that is not right.
What I was going to do if I had a transfer stone is open a portal and be like, quick demons, hide in here, and then just send them to the plane of exploding.
Vacuum of space.
The elemental plane of on fire.
Exactly, yep.
I'll protect you.
But yeah, at this point, like, there's a dragon circling, and I know it's trying to communicate with me somehow.
You could just feel it, you know.
Yeah, what is it? What is it that this dragon is trying to communicate with me?
No, I think that at this point, Ananke is just trying to discern how she can be helpful in this situation and make sure that you are alive at the end.
Okay.
That's not something that a dragon can easily convey, but the fact that it's kind of circling around, I think it's giving the impression that it's waiting for something.
So are you a dragon-armed Overwatch then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, in that case, I'm going to make my way ahead with Boris.
That's no problem. There's nothing
with gun support. Because I saw this thing like gob venom all over everything, and I have no idea that she's completely out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're moving forward into that circle.
Okay,
and,
right there. As you step onto the circle, you can just feel power just thrumming through it, and through your, as you walk onto it, you can kind of feel your body resonating with this power flowing up toward the sun.
Okay. Then in the midst of that circle, if there's nothing stopping me, I think I'm going to take Borin's sword out of the scabbard, tell him to get somewhere safe, and then I'm going to cut my palm and bleed into the center of the circle.
Actually, Borin's going to refuse that, and he is going to say, "Let's do this together, brother." And he's going to suggest that you mingle your blood together with this.
That's actually tragically beautiful, and I kind of like that. Okay. Yeah, I think then it's one of these kind of straight-bladed rapiers, cut and thrust swords. Mm-hmm. And so we kind of put it between the two of our hands, and I pull it across, and then what happens?
All right, let's see.
It's going to be bad.
I failed my class.
I just have this tension.
I have one stress left. I'm invincible.
Invincible. You can resist anything, right? All right. So how about you give me a warp roll?
I love warp rolls.
You are trying to affect this with your blood. You're not doing it in quite the right way, but you are an adept, and you are attuned to the orb, and you are with another expert on managing, the power of the orb. Not quite this orb, but one very similar. So let's make a warp roll and see how that plays out.
Now, before I let you kill me, what is the devil's bargain here?
Okay.
If we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it all the way, man.
Right. Yeah. Let's say that the devil's bargain will be that you will be blasted out of this world and someplace far away.
So regardless of whether or not this works,
right,
I will be adrift again.
You might or might not be alive, when you get there, but you'll be blasted out of this world in someplace far away.
Can I have a different devil's bargain?
You can certainly speak
different devil's bargain.
I don't know how this whole ritual stuff works because I have no warp in or out of game. But what if he's trying to disrupt the ritual? He might break it right now. But I'd like the devil's bargain of the taint of that black sun or whatever does partially, like a back door kind of forms to the sun.
There is an effect on the real orb, even if you...
to turn a devil's bargain into job security.
Yeah. I'm good with either of those.
I'm more than willing to leave the taint of the black sun in play.
Okay.
I think that's actually the cooler one because I was the 100-year wanderer already.
Right.
100 years. Yeah, I'll take an extra die for that.
Oh, you're the only one who knows where your body is.
A little black spot on the side. and you roll a partial success. Interesting. All right, so let's say that there is a huge blast of power. You and your brother are just kind of lifted up and thrown backward out of this circle. And the orb above you cracks in multiple places. It just kind of cracks. You can see blazing red cracks running through it. And it seems like it is starting to shake and get less and less stable up in the sky there.
Can I ask the demons I'm with if that was supposed to happen?
Is this normal? Is this the playing?
No, I don't think so. Were you trying to do that?
Here, why don't you hold on to these while I go investigate? And I the explosives.
Okay, so you're trying to con them into taking these things.
Yeah, I'm trying to contrive them, or maybe command them. Take
Okay.
these. I'll go investigate.
I'll take that as a command. Okay.
If you think you're in danger, just squeeze real hard.
Yeah.
You're hungry despite
You roll a success.
They receive them. They squeeze immediately.
Okay. Well, if it was a partial, they would squeeze immediately and get Hrolf as well.
You're right.
But they say, well, thank you, sir, and they head off, and you can see them heading, and you see them kind of create a gate for themselves, and you can see them go through that gate, and just as the gate is closing, you hear.
All right, job's done. Point
All
my
right.
hands, return to the group.
Yep. So you're thinking you want to get out of this place because it is that sun up there is shaking itself apart, and you can feel the power of this circle is just now it's ripping this thing apart. Something you did has affected the resonance between the circle and the orb up there, and it's not in good shape. Fortunately, you have world walking power, so you managed to get yourself out of there. And Agorus, you can take your troops with you, and it is not far to Agorus if that's where you want to get to.
Yeah, that seems the most reasonable.
You get back to Agorus in time for the closing ceremonies of the ball, which are happening at essentially 2:00 in the morning. There are the entire city is filled with fireworks and mummers and parades. You can see up at the palace there are people standing on the balcony watching the fireworks, and then as you're kind of arriving, somebody is looking up at the sun and saying, "What's that?" And you see there's this little blotch, not the sun, but the orb. And I think we can call it.
Awesome. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was interesting.
That end could have gone many different ways.
It could have, yeah, especially the way you were rolling for a while there.
Does anyone have any feedback on Vergence or the campaign before we do sign-offs and wrap up? We've talked about some of it off camera before.
Yeah.
So.
Sure. I'd like to say, I think I've said this, I may have said it on camera before, but I think that the concept or idea, the world of Vergence is like kind of hard to grapple with at a glance.
It is.
But simultaneously in play, like super amazingly well laced. And I know we didn't travel through terribly many worlds. Maybe in the first session, like going down the Vermilion Way to get here and having a few worlds described. But just the concept, the way that Infinity focuses the game on the individuals is really cool.
Yeah, I think that's worked out really well, and I think that everybody here played off of that really, really well.
I think the way
sorry, go ahead.
I think the way that the different threats as playbooks or crew books change how the game plays out. I mean, obviously I've only played one, but I can see it changing even more dramatically than like Blade's crew books, because it would have been a completely different story if there was no ball involved. Like and I've been working on building more of those to play with. So I look forward to further play testing with other threat types to see how that kind of plays out, because some of them are very much oriented around doing stuff out in other worlds and doing, being away from Vergences.
Stress in this game, I don't know if it shows or anything, but I'm a stress hound. I chase like the most stressful possibilities all the time. I have a serial overcommitment to hurting my own characters, but the way stress works in this game is so like it is a currency that just you cannot even imagine how hard it is for me to spend it, and the fact that if you take harm, you could spend stress anytime you use an ability that is especially the adept. The adept has a lot. Well, warp reality is a spendy ability.
It is a spendy ability, but
it's super cool.
I mean, you can do a lot with it, but it is spendy. And one of the things I want to do, well, I'm currently working on doing, is just kind of going back through all of those play sheets and all of the special abilities and kind of thinking about how they all balance together now that I have, now that there are a bunch more play sheets and more than you had to play with because I've added a couple. So I'm this is play test. And maybe in the long run, 9 stress is not the right number of stress to give a Vergence character to play with. Maybe it needs to be 12.
Don't even get me wrong, though, because it felt super good. Light on stress and feeling the tension, like it really does ratchet things up.
Yeah, it really does. I think the exhaustion mechanic seems to work pretty well in that it doesn't. I don't like the idea of these characters getting trumming out. I don't like the idea of these characters getting kicked out of the scene the way they do in standard Blades. So I think this mechanic, which I've kind of stolen from Ian with Death Wish, is working pretty well.
I expected to come into this game and use warp reality as a hammer, and use it as like the tool in my toolbox that got the job done. And it did pretty often do exactly what I wanted it to do. And I think that when it does come out, you have to really kind of engage and find your moment, and that feels really good as an adept.
Yeah, it's not something you're, at least not at the high stress levels. You can't do it all the time, but it can be very, have a big impact. Just like your banish ability, right? That can do a lot. That got you the victory over Morgaine, right? So even though it doesn't kill somebody, it really changes the tactical.
Moving somebody from the battle space is just as good.
Yeah, at least temporarily.
That
demons have to die.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to give them exploding gifts.
Yeah.
Family reunions are going to be very difficult.
Very interesting. Yeah. I thought everybody here did a great job. I really appreciate, great players make a great game. I really like how you all kind of played with the powers you had and the reality, the world that I was throwing at you, that is not like a simple, easy D&D, we meet in a tavern and go off the dungeon thing. So I thought you all played with that really, really well. I spent a lot of time trying to get it across to you and you picked up on things and then expanded upon it in really interesting ways. Even Travis, you're just saying, I pull out a steam gun was really cool. I was, there were a bunch of times where I wasn't expecting you to do stuff, and you pulled out something that fit really well, so I went with it.
Something else I want to say I really liked was the bonds and like those free assists.
Yeah,
that was a great way.
Yeah, that worked. It worked well. As you know, I kind of added that at the, sort of as we were just starting to play test. It was a new thing to throw in there, and I appreciate you let me mess around with the rules sort of a little bit as we went along.
Sure.
But I think that worked out really well. I don't like game mechanics that force role play right into your face.
Mm-hmm.
There are games out there where you do a thing and here you will now role play in this manner. It seems too controlling to me. But it kind of felt like that bond mechanic was kind of the right balance.
Yeah, I like that. Like the bond itself didn't necessarily have to be relevant to the assist, because that would feel like what you were just describing.
Mm-hmm.
I completely agree with that. It's a great mechanic.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm glad we could get Navi into the game, even though your character was kind of messed up at the end.
I had no idea how I was gonna cope with that. So it was really cool for you to reach out and work with me on so how can we get you to actually be functional in this?
Yeah, I hated you're being useless the whole last session. That would have sucked.
That was a great idea.
In the back of my head, I was wondering, well, what would happen if Ananke's body died while your soul was in the dragon, and now you're in this dragon?
No, it's the dragon with split personalities.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
So, for everyone watching, thank you for joining us for all of these sessions. I hope you enjoyed it. We did an interview with Dave about Vergence for the podcast. It has not gone up yet. I do the editing of the podcast as well, so I've been prioritizing ones that have active Kickstarters. But if Vergence gets Kickstarted, I'll make sure I prioritize that then. Otherwise, it's going to be coming up soon. So keep an eye out for that. Follow our Twitter for that information as well. Yeah.
And Jacob, just thank you so much for doing all of the back end work that you do.
No problem.
From just being a player, you do all kinds of things for the podcast and the video, and it's really so much appreciated.
Yeah, thanks. So where can people find Vergence?
Currently, it is up on itch.io, so you can search for Vergence and you'll find it. And it is currently in development, so it's not done, but it's very playable at this point. So
we certainly played it.
Yeah, but it's playable by people other than me, right, as the GM.
Yeah.
There are some games that you could play with the designer as the GM, but not really anybody else. But Vergence is in now, certainly as I've rolled out updates, it's certainly in playable state for just about anybody.
Awesome. You want to shout out anything else?
Anybody?
Anyone want to shout out your projects or your Twitter or anything?
Okay, I'll take that, Beach. So I'm at Drake and Dice on Twitter. You can see it down in the little bar there. She's at Navi Musing on Twitter. We're both on itch.io at a couple of Drakes. We roll out a bunch of Blade scores, although right now we're kind of stalled, but we'll get that going again.
You've gotten a whole lot of stuff out there, so.
Yeah, we stay busy. But yeah, you can follow all the stuff that we make together at a couple of Drakes at itch.io.
My name is Jacob. My Twitter is Jacob also, as well as my itch store is jacobalso.itch.io. I'm working on Asphalt and Trouble, which I mentioned before, bikers in the climate apocalypse. I also put out the Drowners playbook, and those are the only two things on my itch, or crew book. But I'm heavily enamored with the Drowners, so try those out. Travis, you got anything?
Yeah, you can find me at Octosplosion on Twitter if you want to see me rambling nonsense. A lot of game design stuff. I don't have terribly much credited to me, although there is a itch.io in my name, Togzilla.
Mhm.
I've got one playbook for Blades in the Dark right now. I'm probably going to finish up the other two things that I had running for the jam that didn't get done ahead of time, and put those up. And I don't know, maybe someday I'll have a good idea and make that.
You've certainly got a lot of wisdom for
Yeah.
when you do.
All right, and you can find me on Twitter at Small Cool Games.
Small Cool Games 1.
And I just want to thank everybody here for playing my game. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. And thank you for joining us for Death Wish as well. If you watching at home missed any of the videos, then they're all up on our YouTube. You can check them out there. You can find out more information on our Twitter, at Hacked in the Dark. Keep following us here because I believe we're not doing anything next week, but the following week, Wednesday, I want to say 10 a.m. Eastern, but check the Twitter to make sure. We are starting our next playtest of Fistful of Darkness, and that will be starring mostly new people, but MK, who was on Death Wish, will be GMing. And I've peeked into their Discord chat, and it looks very exciting. So stay tuned for that. Soon we may also be doing something for the Playbook Gems as well. Now that this is wrapping up, we'll get that started too. Anything else I forgot?
Join the Discord.
Join the Discord.
Yep.
It's true. Help us take over.
Yeah. We have, we were saying before this, we have a whole lot of Forged in the Dark, Hacked in the Dark channels. Come say hi. Tell us what you like, what you want to see. Pitch us your game.
Yeah, come make stuff.
Make stuff, yeah. We're very welcoming. We get new people all the time, which is great. So that's it for us for tonight. And some of us, some of the Discord, will see you again in 2 weeks. See you then.
Okay. Thanks a lot.